So being able to practice these drills that I'm going to show you is really going to help you unlock some of that tension. Your body can stay in its posture and rotate, then it really allows for a lot less compensation. So we'll see if we can pull off a couple smooth, kind of effortless swings. So good structure. Hello, my name is John Montgomery. I'm from the United States, Florida to be specific. I've been a golf coach for the past 12 years and a lifelong golfer. So this is my passion and really excited to share some of that passion with you guys today. For the past 5 years, I was voted as one of Golf Digest's best young teachers in America. Yeah, so it's a really big honor. I worked really hard for it and very thankful and so excited whenever I got the opportunity.
이번에는 힘 빼고 스윙하는 법에 대해서 설명해 주신다고 하는데 힘 뺀다의 그 개념이 너무 좀 모호한 것 같아요.
I think that the effortless swing is probably the one thing you really want to achieve. It is one of the best feelings, and not only that, but it also can preserve your body. So, like as you get older, you can continue to play a ton of golf if you really learn how to develop a more effortless swing. And I say effortless because in order to achieve an effortless swing, of course there is a lot of effort or work that goes into that. So when you look at a tour pro or somebody with a very efficient golf swing, it always has a beautiful tempo to it and the ball just whoosh, shoots off the face so fast. But that all comes with three different things. You have to have good structure. So you can't just have effortless without good structure. It's about having structure in the right places in your body and then like losing the tension in the other places. So you must have good structure. You must have good coordination also. And what I mean by that is just how I said, the effortless swing has like hidden power. So it's not that you're just really soft al dente noodle throughout the whole thing, right? It's that there's good structure and then there's power coming from the ground that's transferring through your body, but also you have to let go of that tension in order to get the club to swing and release and get that power. So to the eye, it doesn't look like there's much effort. There is a tension and then a release. So that's where the coordination comes in. Some people have a hard time understanding that because they think all tension or all strength is going to give them max speed, but it's actually much slower if you hold on to all of that tension throughout your body. So if you have stress in your shoulders, in your arms, and through your body, all of that's staying here and not going to the one thing that hits the golf ball. We don't hit the ball with our body. The club head is hitting the ball. So we need to be able to build tension in the body, but then be able to release that tension through the golf ball so that all the energy goes through the club head. So the swing to me is like energy management. You build energy and then you have to release it and transfer it to the most important part, which is the club head. And so the last piece is the sequencing, right, to bring it all together. And so a really efficient sequence is to have your lower body start the downswing. And I'm just talking about the downswing. So lower body goes first, then the upper body, then the arms, and then the club. So it's a 4-part firing order sequence that creates that effortless transfer of energy into the club. So again, it's all about energy transfer. And I think that's where people get messed up. They think, okay, I'm going to hit my driver as hard as possible, or I'm going to hit this iron as hard as possible. You can see the veins in their forearms starting to hold up, and then they keep all of that through the golf ball, and you feel like you're swinging hard, but it's actually not transferring to the club. So being able to practice these drills that I'm going to show you is really going to help you unlock some of that tension and get the speed to the club head where we need it at. So good structure, like I said, is really important for the effortless swing. When I say good structure, you have to have good body posture, and then you also need to have some width to your swing. So first, we have to make sure you have really good structure in your setup, so good body positioning. And then with the club, that allows you to stay in your posture, maintain the tilts in your posture, and just rotate back and through. So this is the structure that I'm talking about. If your body can stay in its posture and rotate, then it really allows for a lot less compensation so that you can have like everything working in good order, good club path, good face angle that really help get like maximum energy into that golf ball. So whenever you're set up, you also need to make sure that you have good width to your swing. So You can't just take the club back and kind of fold your arms, right? Because good, effortless energy comes with some leverage. So having like a longer lever. If you can stretch your arms a little bit further away from you, then whenever you go to come down, you're going to actually create and store more energy into the club. When your arms are a little bit more bent, you're not putting as much force into the shaft. So like you're not, again, transferring much energy. It might feel like you're going to swing faster, but you're not going to transfer energy into the club. When you have width and leverage, whenever you go to pull down, you can actually feel a little bit more of the shaft getting some of that energy. And then we're also getting some help from the club head, right? The shaft is going to bend. and reflect back into the golf ball. So there's another piece there for some of that effortless power, okay? So a good structure, right? Getting up to the top and just trying to make some backswings where you can make sure you have some width. One of my favorite ways to do that is just put the club down here on the shaft, right hand on the shaft, and make some backswings where you're practicing having a little bit more width here. Okay, and then you can bring your hands to the club like this and just make sure that you can make a nice big wide backswing in that transition, all right? And then from there, you can start to have the sequencing. So the sequencing, again, is the 4-part sequence, and as long as you can get to the top and then feel the shift from your lower body, so we always move with horizontal or shifting first, and then you're gonna rotate, and then at that point, the lower body is pretty much done. So it goes shift, and rotate, and then from there, that little bit of shift and rotate creates some tension in here, like my core has some tension, and that's going to help kind of pull and sling my upper body, right? And so that's one transfer of energy. So I shift and rotate while my upper body is still back. I got this tension here, and then that shift and rotate helps get my upper body to start moving and creating more energy. Once the upper body starts moving and coming in, then I get the arms to start pulling down, which is the next transfer of energy. So we use our body, hips and upper body, to help get more speed to start to develop into the arm, okay? It's essentially like if you were gonna slam a medicine ball. If you wanted to slam a ball into the ground as hard as possible, and you just went that way, it's not gonna be as fast as if you went and had some separation, right? And used your whole body to help fling and pull your arms down. So there's a little bit of that too, right? Where you go here, turn, and that helps get the arms to come down. And then from here, we're in that nice position where we can start releasing the club. And now we've developed all that energy from the ground into the torso, into the arm, and then into the club head. Effortless comes with a lot of effort in practicing the sequencing to get it down. I had a lesson with a long drive guy before. I was so intrigued at what he had to say, that long drive guys, they spend more time working on their sequence than they do actually working on like just trying to hit the ball as hard as possible. And that really opened my eyes to how important the sequencing is. Even guys who are trying to hit the golf ball as far as possible, they said they live by the 80-20 rule. 80% of their time is spent on sequencing and 20 is on power. I was like, wow. I just thought that like, you know, you would take some pre-workout and just get in there and just try to swing as hard as you can. But the sequencing and how you use your body is so important. So it's the transfer.
그러면은 하체가 먼저 움직이고 상체, 팔 이렇게 움직인다고 하잖아요. 하체 움직임은 팔이 움직이기 전에 움직임이 다 끝나버리는 건가요?
So you feel like you're going to try to keep your arms kind of relatively still. And I think this changes for a lot of people. But in general, whenever you get up to the top and you do the shift, the reason why the shift is so important is that when your body moves this way and it shifts towards the target, it allows for the arms to naturally kind of drop a little bit more down. If you start immediately with rotation, the rotation is responsible for getting things back in front of your body, right? So if you start your downswing with energy and rotation, then you're most likely going to be fighting like a steeper over the top kind of swing, right? Unless you just try to counter it with a ton of side bend. I don't suggest that for anybody. You know, I have been nursing like a lower back injury for a while now from having a lot of side bends. I've been trying to get rid of it actually. But anyways, yes, if you can get the horizontal first and get a little bit of the push, then that allows for the arms and the club to drop naturally, kind of shallow naturally versus like trying to force some shallowing move. So that's the key, is getting that horizontal push first. Because even the lower body, like if you look into ground forces, like most efficient way to use the ground forces is horizontal first, which is the shifting, then the torque or the rotation, and then vertical. And those all help with like the proper release timing of the club and everything. That's a big one, because many people are always trying to hit the ball right away with the turn. And they're always going to fight being a little bit steeper and that club kind of pulling over the top like this. And then you can't do anything effortlessly, when you're out here, right? Then you got to start doing compensating moves. So effortless is all about having like a good swing plane. Club needs to be on a good swing plane. It needs to be coming down into the golf ball from a relatively shallow position, like under your shoulder, as you're coming down into the ball. So that's just the way that the clubs are designed to be swung, so that the club can come in flat and hit the golf ball, and you can have a relatively neutral club path. So that is a big part of the effortless, is being able to have, the club in the right positions. You can't just, if you try to swing effortlessly with a bad club plane, then like you're not gonna get the right results that you're looking for, okay? And same thing there, you seen my arms were too soft, right? We wanna be able to have some structure, right? And a nice wide backswing with good sequencing, and then the coordination to be able to like use energy, develop it, and then let it go, right? And those are those three pieces together. So I'll see if we can pull off a couple smooth, kind of effortless swings. So good structure, good build of energy to get everything moving, and then good coordination to know when to feel when to throw it and release it at the right time to be able to hit the shots.
So when you make the good structure and good sequence, coordinate is automatically follow.
Yeah, it kind of goes with it. But I won't say it's automatic, because it still takes training. Nobody is like, just like perfect like that. A lot of times you would hope that it just works automatically, but I've given too many lessons to too many amateurs. Nothing is automatic. They're like, oh, all you have to do is this, and then this happens? Not quite.
그러면 어떻게 그 코디네이션을 만들 수 있나요?
I think one of the best ways for coordination drills is a step drill. Everybody's seen these before. I think it's just one of the most simple ways to do it. Step drill, and also a rope drill. Just learning how to swing a rope. Rodeo rope, yeah. Because if you can swing a rope, there's a timing element to being able to swing the rope properly. If you can get a rope to whoosh down at the bottom, then you have, enough rotation from your body, like you're not, jerking or doing any kind of motion. So like upper body training, rope is one of the best things. Learn to swing a rope and just get it to whoosh at the right time. Dr. Kwan is probably most famous for his studies and how much he works on like sequencing with the rope drill. And then for coordination of the lower body, step drills are the best. Step drills can be difficult to learn at first. There's a learning curve, but once you get them down, it makes it a lot easier. A simple way is always just like one step first. So my favorite way is just feet standing pretty close together. Your ball position is going to be outside your lead foot there, because as we make a backswing, and about when your left arm gets parallel to the ground is when you're going to step forward. When you step forward, you need to hit the golf ball, so you want to step to where the ball position is correct for the club that you're hitting. Since I have an iron here, I want to step to where the ball is going to be in the middle of my feet. So even before I hit a ball, I'll kind of practice and just get the setup of where I'm going to go. And so if you practice the coordination of being able to step in the backswing so that the transition is nice and smooth, then that's a nice way to really learn how to coordinate the lower body moving first, right? Because since you're stepping in the backswing, that is teaching you that pressure shift and teaching you the shift from your pushing off of your right foot in this direction to help get your body to move that way to actually step. So it's not like some big exaggerated movement, but just simply the fact that you can pick your foot up off the ground and step it forward, you are using the ground forces correctly to shift your pressure and shift your weight forward. And then a more advanced one, which is a little bit more fun for me, is the two-step drill. And you're gonna have a similar setup here, but ball position is gonna be a little bit more right on your left foot there. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna step, swing, step, swing. So you step in the backswing to make a swing, and then same thing like the first drill. When your left arm gets parallel, you step with the other foot and then come back down. So it just really teaches you that sequence of like step and swing to get the proper sequencing down with the lower body movement. So you go, and that one kind of puts the whole swing in order there, being able to feel that pressure shift.
I think left foot is a little bit difficult to amateur.
That's why I say one step is the best way to start it first, and just getting that feeling down. So ball position would be out here, step, and you just kind of practice rehearsing this feeling. So, and doing it at the right time so that it feels natural. Also, if you step too early, then it feels awkward and you're waiting for the club to get to the top. And if you step too late, then you don't have the timing in the right order. So again, a good cue for me is when the left arm is parallel to the ground, is when you start to step. So you're stepping and finishing your backswing at the same time, and then things start to work a little bit better together.
그리고 굿 스트럭처에서 왼팔이 펴야 된다고 말했잖아요. 이건 어떻게 펼까요? 아마추어들이 사실 이걸 진짜 많이 어려워하거든요.
The left arm, it doesn't need to be locked out. It needs to be straighter, and it also has to do with how well you can rotate your upper body or your lower body. So a lot of times, if somebody is really struggling with how their left arm is moving in the backswing, a lot of times it has something to do with the body. So if you don't have a good body turn, enough turn from your pelvis to allow for 90 degrees of shoulder turn, like it's a lot easier for my left arm to be straight here. But if I have limited turn in both of those and I'm trying to reach back, then I feel that tension there. Also, somebody with like a bigger upper body or a bigger chest muscle, like to be able to get their left arm to go across their body enough is very difficult. So that's where they'll start to bend their arm a little bit more. So if somebody's a little bit more muscular or just like heavier in their upper body, then they're not going to be able to move their arm across their body as much. Like this helps. If you can do this move, this helps in your swing. Because if you can't rotate your body as much, you can still at least get your left arm a little bit more across your body to get to a better position at the top. But if you can't do that, then you're gonna be struggling. So a lot of times I look at the body more to be able to get that feel. And then it's just kind of training. You can use a really light weight, like a 2-kilogram dumbbell, and just practice the structure of rotating your body and being able to support that weight. If you can support the weight of a small dumbbell, it'll be a lot easier to do it with a club or just a club. Left arm only like this. And you'll feel yourself needing to turn your body a lot more in order to keep that arm straight. Without the body turn, yeah. So if you're working on the effortless swing, what you can expect is that you are going to be able to play 18 holes over and over again, right? If you got multiple days of golf in a row, you're not going to have so much tension on your body. You're not going to feel so beat up. So this is like so important for somebody who's a passionate golfer. Can you keep playing without the injury in your body? And then also being able to get so much more efficient with your energy, right? You use so much energy and then you get so much more output, and it's just becoming efficient. You're becoming a hybrid car instead of a diesel gasoline engine, right? And being able to understand how to use your body correctly. So if you practice what we were talking about, if you have good structure, meaning that you have good posture, good setup, and that you can create some width in your backswing. If you have good sequencing, meaning that you can get that feeling of getting your lower body moving first, then the upper body, then the arm, and then the club to get that proper transfer of energy into the club head. Then you're going to hit the ball way more efficiently. And then if you have the coordination to be able to do that, add some power to it, but then let go of that power and release that power through the golf ball, then you are max efficiency in getting that effortless swing. So if you try that out at the driving range and you bring those pieces together, you're really going to enjoy that feeling of the effortless golf swing. Effortless.
Thank you.
Drill that I would use for that, and hold it in your right armpit like this. Good. So now make a backswing, and when you feel your left arm touch the stick, you should kind of stop. With the short iron, it's so much more important that you can get to a position where you're going to compress the golf ball. And then from here, this is where you're going to start to use your lower body a lot more. So now you're going to shift and start to turn, and that's all going to happen while you're still kind of keeping your arms here.